Hey there, everybody. What's up? It's GleeCon, and I'm here again bringing you another episode of Lore of Warcraft. This is a show where we do everything together. You know, I'm kicking around the idea of not doing the breakdown for new people every time. So I think we're going to start streamlining that maybe on the next episode. Last time, we did a massive, huge, long, filled with some hiccups, but it was eventually mega successful run of Maraudon, where myself and another experienced player kind of guided a team of often AFK, somewhat noobish players through Maraudon. And if you were one of them and you're watching it, sorry, you were not a noob. Everybody did really good, even the people that came in and pinched hit at the end. So we'll talk about that a little bit more throughout the throughout the episode. And yeah, this is a classic walkthrough. This is kind of a wrap-up. We're going to do a short one since yesterday's episode was massive. Stay a while and listen as we take Glee Contessa. And she's going to pop in an Ironforge here. We're just going to turn in all of the Maraudon quests and travel around to do that today. Get her set up to do the next zone, which will be Felwood. Felwood does have a quest. Actually, we could pick that up while we're here. There's a quest over here called Little Slime Goes a Long Way, and that's actually, I think, if we look at the spreadsheet, another thing that I do on this show is I keep a running spreadsheet. So if you look at the quests for, oh, this is the one we're actually doing. If you look at the quests for Felwood, which is where we're at right now, there is this A Little Slime Goes a Long Way. That's the only one. Most of the quests are neutral. Most of them, it's a very... We'll talk about that if we have time today, too. But we can pick that up while we're here. Alright, so the reason why I'm in Ironforge is because that's where the mage ported. I should have just died and got my behind out of Maraudon that way to turn in all the quests. But, you know, this will actually be okay because you do need to go to Menethil in order to get everything done. We also need to go to, I don't know why I'm going this way. We need to go to, whatchamacallit. Moonglade, too, is another little bit. So we have Shadowshard Fragments, which is Menethil, Twisted Evils, Vyletongue Corruption, the Pariah's Instructions, Corruption of Earth and Seed. All of those to be turned in Deathless itself, and then the Seed of Life needs to be dropped off in Moonglade, so we have to visit those places. And we did already complete 2 of the quests, the Legends of something, Maraudon or something like that, and this Rod of Celebris. Those were completed. Actually, we can take that rod now and put the Scepter of Celebris. We can put that in our bank because I'm not going to be doing repeat Maraudon always. So let's go get this Little Slime Goes a Long Way. Because Felwood will be the next zone that we do, and I hope to be onto it by the time I'm ready to do it.
Amazing, aren't they? All these artifacts. And
I hope that we'll be able to do Felwood. I am getting very close to finishing. I'm probably 3-ish. No. I don't know, a week or so out, but I think we have a week or so of content that I can pack in before Felwood is ready to drop. So, because tomorrow we'll do a lore video, and then over the weekend I'll wrap up Maraudon, and then that buys me 2 more days to do lore and the Patreon show. So I have until next Wednesday, so I have 6 days. I might be able to pull it off in 6 days. It's very possible. Alright, A Little Slime Goes a Long Way.
But the thing I've studied most is ooze. I know it sounds odd, but they're all over. I helped a lady in Menethil find her bag not too long ago. It was eaten by oozes. I've seen members of the Royal Apothecary Society from Undercity collecting samples of the stuff. I want to know why. Where does it come from? I've heard of more in Felwood. What I need are samples of the oozes there so I can further my research. I'll give you containers. You use them to collect a sample from the deceased creatures.
Alright, so this is a guy named Laris Gear-Dawdle. What I cut him off from saying was, amazing, aren't they? All these artifacts and remains. I'm not sure what I'm more impressed by, their size or the stories that go along with them. There's so much to study and learn and the connections we can make. Did you know rumor has it that many races have the same heritage as the Night Elves? Like the Trolls. Alright, so this Alliance version, there's a Horde version of this quest we'll also have to do. The Alliance version is infinitely easier. The Horde version is a massive pain in the derriere. Alright, so, but we'll talk about that when we do Horde. We're going to smelt some of this stuff. I guess I have some things ready to be smelted. While we're here, we need to sell and repair. Just kind of do a little bit of light cleaning up. Not anything major. Kind of keep that as we go. Looks like we're getting pretty close to leveling to 56, which is actually a little annoying because we're going to go do Fellwood, which is far as heck away from everything. And then we will need to go back to Ironforge or Stormwind to get our powers. Because we will absolutely level up when we're in Fellwood because there's a massive grind ahead. I can kind of look forward a little bit to what that Fellwood looks like.
What can I get for you today?
Alright, let's sell... That's my old ring. Don't need that. That is mail. Okay, yeah, we're good on that. No. I don't know what the Savage Fronds are for, actually. I want to look this up because I have a stack of them on my mage, on my Alliance kind of driving force. Okay, it's the objective of a quest in the Eastern Plagueland. Okay, so eventually we will need, in total, 60 of them. So sure, we'll go ahead and keep them, since they have a purpose. Don't need that shield or leather gloves with arcane. Oh, Khadgar's Whister and Heart of the White. I'm actually gonna sell those. I feel like they're not with the inventory space. I will rebuy them as needed. That I can go into the bank. Boom, boom, all those different things. Don't need the delicious cave mold. They can miss me with that. That we're gonna get to ditch here in a minute. Don't care about the red wolf meat. My pets need to be stored up in the bank. Got some stonage. And there we go. Okie dokie. Looks okay. We have solid stone. Now we're gonna visit the bank and mailbox, and that's it. That's it for our wrap up. As far as blacksmithing goes, right now we're kind of in a weird mithril spurs. I could make a couple of those. Does require an anvil, actually. I might want to. That's green, or there was something else I felt like I was going to be making. It was going to be easy. Something yellow to get me through. Yeah, that Imperial Plate Belt. Sure, if I can make thorium, I think that's a big part of it. I don't want to make any of those. That's all crazy. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the Imperial Plate was actually... I just don't think there's a better... Yeah, because this is going to take a bunch of stuff. They all take so much stuff. Alright, so I think Mithril Spurs it is. I don't think we're going to get lucky and get 2 points off of this when we only have 2 to make. But you never know. Maybe we will get 1. Give it a try. Because eventually we can go to Tanaris and... I think we need a bunch of thorium is actually what it is. I think thorium are the things we're looking to make right now. But any mithril we get, we can pump into mithril spurs until that's just not green anymore. I feel like it's very hard for mithril to beat a chance at a point for only 4 mithril bars and 3 solid grinding stones. So this will take us down to a 20 stack on that also, although I think I can make more. Okay, first one. No dice. They don't sell for very much and are so easy to make that there's just not a lot of need for them. And they're very slow to build. But if we can get closer to 270, that'd be really cool. Technically, we should be about 275 right now, or a little under, but it's hard without focusing on it to level blacksmithing. All right, we got nothing out of it. You little jerks. All right, so we're gonna get rid of those guys. We do have nice stacks of metal up here. This can go in the inventory. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm checking to see what the heck can go in my bank. That can go in the bank. Don't want tender wolf meat. Iron bar, that can go in the bank at this point. Just dense stone. Just the 2 of them, okay? That's fine, I'll keep that for now. Dense grinding stone, I'll keep that. These solid stones I'm going to make. These guys can go in the bank. I don't care about having a pet right now. Make this solid grinding stone. Bed. Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep it because that's... I will make those later, but that's not going to help save me inventory spots. We'll put the blacksmithing thing there. Okay. Dense stone I'm saving. Iron bar can go. Alright, I think everything else is good. I don't think I need any silk or anything. All of this is either going to be bank or sold. Okay, this is from the quest. It actually gets sent like right away. So it's from Pratt McGrubbin. Hello again. I just wanted to drop you a note that things here in Feathermoon Stronghold are fine. I've managed to make several new pieces of leather items, thanks in no small part to the help you gave me. I'd like some extra bits of leather. I had some left over, so I thought I'd send you something extra for all the help you've given me. If you're ever by the Stronghold again, be sure to look us up. Your friend Pratt. I think you get that when you complete the improved quality quest line. Let's see. My pants, those gloves I recently upgraded. My armor is already upgraded. Pants could use it. Boots could use it. What is better? Those pants are actually pretty good. Alright, I'll put them on pants. Also, looking at gear, the best part of the Mega Run, if you didn't watch it, we got the Blackstone Ring. The pre-raid best in slot. For, you know what, I'm gonna buy, sure. I'm gonna purchase 25 gold. Jeez. Supposed to be saving for my mount. I'm not doing that, that's too much. I'm gonna get rid of the light leather, that's not as important. I'll put the dark iron ore. I'm getting rid of this thick Murloc scale. I'm gonna save the Savage Fronds, put the elemental earth in there. That's a Celebrus rod, we need that. I'm not keeping the thick spider silk, get rid of that. I'm not keeping a gold thorn, get rid of that. I'll get rid of regular spider silk. I feel like I'll farm those if needed, put my chicken in there. Oh, the elemental earth can go popped in there. Let's see. Just straight tin bars? I don't know, I guess my bolts of woolen cloth can go. Probably not going to need that. Put my chicken egg in there. One single gold bar. Alright, so the rest of this is all quest stuff or things that I'm going to sell. This is for this upcoming quest. Yeah, that's these quests I have to turn in. Those are not valuable enough, and I'm not going to play the market like auction house for 3 light leather. All right, now we're ready to go. That was part of what we had to do today. Oh, this little bread seller lady, perfect.
Welcome.
Alrighty, here we go. Now we got to fly to Menethil so that we can go over to Dustwallow Marsh. And then from there, we have to decide, how are we going to get... Well, another option, well, I do have to get to Menethil. So one option is fly to Moonglade. I wish I could tell... Well, you know what, when I'm in... No, I can't.
I have the finest wares in the land.
Darn it. I wish... What I don't know is... Have I been to Moonglade before? It doesn't look like it, so that means I probably do not have a flight path to Moonglade.
What's on?
The Wildhammer dwarves
Okay,
might have
this is a
fast
quick
steeds,
flight.
but can those
So-
hairy peaked griffins stand the heat of the Great Forge?
Have I been to
think
Felwood?
not.
No. So that means I'm going to have to come up through Felwood. So I'm going to ultimately have to go from Ashenvale. I'll have to go from Astronar and slowly march all the way up, get this flight path. Then march through the tunnel, most likely dying. To get through Timbermaw Hold and get that flight path, which would then at least allow me to, excuse me, to fly over the tunnel in the future. Save me from having to do that. It's pretty convenient if you are the Alliance. There's a flight path that exists just to fly over the tunnel. Hordes is arguably better because their flight path is right in the middle. So it's better for the questing in the actual zone. And now I guess we can talk about that process. Yeah, so I'll just... I guess what I'm going to do is finish the... I will fly from Dustwallow over to Desolace, that's not that far, to Nigel's Point. And we'll go turn in all of the quests here. And go back to Nigel's Point and fly back to Astronar. And then from Astronar we'll do our long hike, get that flight path, which is going to help us anyway for questing in Felwood. And then pick up the Seed of Life, or go fight through the tunnel, hopefully not dying. Alright, so Felwood's questing. So Felwood is basically divided into 3 types of questing. So there is a small pocket of quests down here. So a few of them have chains, essentially centered around going into the small Jadenar cave, full of demons and burning legion or whatever. So, killing the mobs outside, weakening them, going inside, doing a rescue mission, and then ultimately going deeper into the cave. So that's the only real true quest line in Felwood. It's pretty fun. That will be cool for lore. It's got some neat little things.
To Theramore from this dock.
So we just missed the boat.
Words, those lands are rarely safe to travel for people of the Alliance. Watch your step and your back.
This little slime thing is the one that we got from Ironforge. It's not really part of that quest line. We'll do it while we're there fighting in that region. And that will open up a second one for Ungoro. So you definitely want to do Felwood before Ungoro Crater, and we are. Our next zone will be Ajara, which is another quick zone, relatively. Then we'll do Searing Gorge. No, I'm sorry. Then we'll do Ungoro Crater. So we do have Ajara in the middle, but if you look at Ajara... excuse me. There's just a couple little repeatable, like that's actually, those are like travel. You have a couple quests here. You've got a couple out here, the Hydraxis Waterlords quests. And then you have a couple out here. Maybe there might be some involvement. Like this is maybe 2 episodes worth of content. Unless we end up having to do a Hydraxis Waterlord grind. But if there's no quests tied to that, we will not have to do that. If there is quests, I don't know. That's to cross that ship another day because I haven't even started prepping that. I'm just about done with the prep for Felwood. So I've basically done all of the line right here except for there's a finale. There's a couple quests for both. Almost everything is neutral. This entire storyline of fighting Jadenar is neutral. There is one small flavor of difference. There's a couple quests that come out of the Horde area for killing some beasts and finding some corruption among the beasts. Whereas there's a couple down here that are tasked with going up and getting this flute from killing satyrs. And and then using that to interact with the treants. So for the Alliance, you have a few quests about that. The Horde, I believe, have a few quests around the beasts. But it's really literally just a few. Then there's that whole quest line. The two other elements that are annoying is one is the corruption of cleansing the corruption of the land. It really comes down to just grinding out these little corrupted things from both your profession and killing the mobs, and then finding these spawned plants. Luckily, no one really gives two craps about it, so it's not that hard to find even the most rarest spawn of the plants. I'm sure back in the day this was a pain, but it doesn't really matter that much. The final part, which will make this zone stretch for multiple episodes, because all of that, you could do those things in probably 2 episodes and be done. There is a small collection of quests up here at Timbermaw Hold. Timbermaw Hold quests are weirdly coded in Wowhead. Some of them are coded as Fellwood, and some are just coded as being in Timbermaw Hold. So when you look it up at Wowhead, you have to really, if you're using that and not using the sheets that I give, you just have to kind of be careful. It's not going to correctly list every quest in the area. And it's kind of on yours because some of them spill out into fighting a couple of the Furbolgs in Winter Spring right here. But those two are tagged as, some are tagged as Fellwood, some are tagged as Winterfall Hold. None of them are really tagged as Winter Spring quests. So because all of them can essentially be done within Fellwood, we are going to do that entire line on its own. One of it starts down here. One of them, there's a small cluster. Basically, it's like a little mini quest chain, 3 or so quests there with repeatable options. A mini one there of the same size, and a mini one there. So we're going to do those 3 clusters. But in order to get through the tunnel and to be able to turn in a couple of them, you have to be at least neutral with the Timbermaw tribe, which means we will have to grind all the way out from hostile to neutral at 5 rep a kill. There is about a 1/3 drop rate, or maybe 25%, probably closer to around 30% drop rate for certain feathers. Each 5-pack of feathers can be turned in for 50 reps, so essentially every feather is worth 10 rep. I've done the math, because that's what I do, and I'd say around 7.8, close to around, it averages out to every Furbolg is around 8 rep. If we're humans like we are with her, that's great. That's going to push us up closer to 9 rep. When we do it on Horde, we're not going to have that option. So we will be killing for quite a long time. There's also no easy... Most of the time you're questing down here or up here. There's a vendor here and a vendor here, but when you're questing around here as Alliance, so annoying to get up there to sell. It's not even worth it. So that's another part of it. We're going to struggle with that. So anyway, we could cleanse the entire corruption in an episode, but really we'll do it at the same time as we work on the others. Like I said, that's maybe 2 episodes or so. But I anticipate at least 2 more in the grind here, maybe 3. So Fellwood will end up being as long as our other zones because of that stinking grind. I'm just not quite ready to do it yet because I have not done the finale in here. I have done the full corruption line. I haven't done the little individual line. Like I started this one, but I haven't done the single finale there. Started the Horde, but there's a couple ones there. I've also done all of the Timbermaw quests here. Here, I've done the grind, but I haven't done the little few quests that go with the lady on the Winterfell side. So that is what I have to get done in the next few days. And I really just... I play, like, yesterday I played for such a long time on this show that I really didn't play much outside of it. I am on the fence about abandoning my other project where I'm playing on Anniversary. to get a hunter. I'm close to abandoning it. I just am not feeling it. I'm like, it's starting to feel like what's the point? Like what's so I don't know. Just because it's, you know, there are other games that exist in this world, and sometimes I like to play that too. But I have shown that this project of an insane OCD can work, and it's pretty fun. I like it. I like it. It's been a lot actually easier than I thought. Right now we're going to turn in that Shadowshard fragment quest, BT dubs, which I believe is turned into a wizard up here by Jaina. Yeah, this Archmage Turvosh. He's associated with a couple quests. He's like her second in command or whatever.
King's honor. Well met, adventurer. We must be brief because there is much to do.
Have you made the trip yet? I realize it to be quite dangerous, but if you are successful, it would be very much worth it.
These are perfect, adventurer. I actually had other adventurers return from there also, and from them I was able to fashion these. Please feel free to take one for your hard work, and thank you again for more samples to study.
Alright, the 10 intellect, that's definitely not on this build, but I actually have to decide, what do I want? I have to do the math here and see. So this 20 attack power is essentially like getting 10 strength or 10 agility on this character. So 10 stamina is like a 5 point, and an intellect, so that's like a 5.5. How much do I value spirit on my paladin? Helps me heal, but it's really not that great of a stat for paladin, and I cannot remember like my overall math, my calculation. I don't think I evaluated it as a half point. So usually, basically for this character, I give full value weight to strength and agility. I give... Now, strength increases your attack power with melee weapons by 2 points each. Oh, you go the flight path. I passed it. It increases the amount of damage that can be blocked with a shield, which that is... that's nothing on my account.
Where would you like to fly to?
Okay, now we're gonna fly over to Nigel's point. Good. Alright, so basically that is nothing. So all strength is a direct attack power boost. Agility increases your attack power with ranged weapons. That's nothing. Increases your chance to score a crit and increases chance of armor and dodge. Armor and dodge, of course, is pretty useful, and the crit is very useful for this build. So I give full value to agility when I make this build because crit chance is great. This one's awesome too. Chance to hit. I also give full value to chance to hit. 20 attack power, 6 stam. That's just such a good ring. Alright, so those two get full points. I give half points to stamina because it's very useful, but it is ideally when I'm in dungeoning, I'm not the person up front. Same with intellect. Having mana is useful, but it's not the end all or the be all. And what about spirit? So that to me makes me feel like spirit. Let's look at classic Ret Pally stat priority. So stat priority, if you look at the classic, now this has to be not so hit chance obviously is the best until you have a 9% hit chance. We have let's see what we have here. Nothing. Nope. So we just have a +1. Thought we maybe dodge. Yeah, we don't have any others. But once you have 9%, you're considered hit capped, and I am doing a hit capped build. So that means getting to that 9%, which now I have 1%, is basically top priority. Strength is the next highest priority. Why? Well, it just gives you straight attack power. So it says attack power is next, but I guess strength. Agility and crit chance are essentially the same thing. So that's pretty good. I kind of agree. Let's see. I don't know what my... I'd have to get one of those mods that lets me know what my exact crit chance is. Doesn't tell me. But, agility increases your crit chance by 0.05% per point. So 20 agility is a crit. So the reason why, yeah, so like these hit things right here. No, dang it, I have something that's giving me a chance to crit. I really thought. Okay, well, I don't know why I thought I had chance to crit, but I do not. So basically 1% chance is equivalent to 20 agility. Now, it doesn't... The reason why I still evaluate agility higher is because it also gives you your... you don't have ranged weapons as a paladin, so that doesn't matter. But it does give you armor and chance to dodge. So I still do evaluate agility as a little bit better, but chance to crit is basically whatever. Alright, so hit chance. You have an 8.6 chance to miss. The hit rate is considered to be 9% since you can only get it in increments of 1%. 9% ensures you'll never miss an ability. Okay, so that's why you're hit capped. Gotcha. So that's cool. Strength is a much more efficient means of getting AP. Yeah, so strength is 2 AP per strength. That's why they're saying it's lower on the list. It's just not a one-to-one trade-off. You basically have to count 2 AP as 1 strength. And now we know that chance to crit is basically a little bit more weighted in favor. Like if I had to do a tie, I'd pick chance to crit. Now that I know there's a simple 20-to-1 conversion. Alright, but now Spirit, if you look, Spirit is not even on here. Spell Power is, then Stamina Intellect. Spell Power gives you more holy damage. It's still a damage increase. Stamina gives you a small chance to spell crit. Good. Yeah, it says you should naturally acquire it in gear. You should never have to prioritize it. So I would say, so Spirit is basically really low on the priority list. 1/3, 1/4. So if that's the case, then the Stam, that's 5.5. And then if you do a third, like that's maybe 3. That's about 8.5. That's not as good. So actually, for a DPS build, this Zealous Shadowshard Pendant is actually better than Talvash's Ring. Alright, let's turn in our couple quests here. Oh, by the way, let's go to our spreadsheet. And we just turned in, we need a few more. Okay. We turned in Shadowshard Fragments. I might have went too far on that. That's fine. Okay. What was the last one we picked up? Seed of Life. Alright. So we'll go turn in Vyletongue Corruption right now. This is quest number 2 of the 6 remaining. We already turned in 2 in the dungeon. If you watched the last episode, probably around the 2/3 mark of that epic run, you could see that in action.
Ishnuala.
If we are to heal the plant, it will again begin to grow. If you are able to, it will begin to grow. We must do what we can, Gleekantessa.
Thank you for returning this, adventurer. With the remaining liquid you brought me, I can continue my studies. While there is still much to do, you have helped to heal some of the corruption that Vyletongue spread through Maraudon. Please take this with my gratitude.
So basically, we put down the satyr, and he was corrupting Maraudon, and we've kind of helped that, and she can use it. This ring is not good. compared to what we have. This belt is a leather belt. The gloves, my gloves are so good. They're probably my best item. So we're really kind of on the... there was never a chance with this level of quest upgrading my gloves. Alright, so that's two down. And now we're going to be going over here to this next one. Turn in this one. And then we have to go down to turn in Twisted Evils, and then down to the Pariah's instructions. Alrighty then. This is turned into the leader, Keeper Mirandus, the leader of this little Nigel's Point.
This is most wonderful news, Gleekantessa. Thank you. Although it concerns me that you are not able to bring back Zitar's remains, were I to question the will of Cenarius' firstborn, perhaps now the will of the centaur will break and their thirst for blood will lessen. We can only hope. If successful in our mission, I was given these items to award to any who aided us. You may choose one as a token of my thanks.
So a bow we can't use, a rod, and a one-handed sword. It's a pretty cool sword. That thrash blade is has some popularity. We're not going to use it because we're two-hander. And we don't do dual wield as a paladin. So that is nothing, even though that is great. But we got the ring. It really doesn't matter. We got that stinking ring. Alright, so now we're going to move down to Twisted Evils and then finish up with the Pariah's instructions before running all the way back across the zone to fly to Ashenvale for our final walk up through Fellwood, culminating in Moonglade with the last pack. Alrighty. Yeah, so that was the quest to kill the final boss of Maraudon. I can tell right now, what do we have left? We've got 3 quests only, so I'm only going to have 3 boxes, so I can get rid of those. The Horde run is going to be the same. The experience for Horde and Alliance, the NPCs might be only for Shadowshard Fragments are different. Maybe the Moonglade one, I'm not sure, but for the most part, this experience will be very similar. We'll do that over the weekend once we beat Maraudon. It was a pretty fun run. I gotta say, I've ran over the past couple months. I've done 3 really thorough clears of Maraudon, and they've all been entertaining.
I am forsaken.
Oh, to ask questions. You have my request.
Ha ha ha! I knew you'd be back. So easy to convince. We'll do anything for the right price. Ha ha.
Willow mutters. I would do anything for the right price. Alright, I don't want this cloth chest or leather helmet, even though that's decent. The relentless chain is okay. It's kind of like a across-the-board chain that might be good for my shaman when we get there. Let's see, these plate pauldrons are okay, but mine, again, my pauldrons are so good already. My big bad pauldrons, it's like they're giving me upgrades on the things that are already my best things. Oh well. We've helped the old gods, the Twilight people. Of course, why would a paladin not help out the Twilight? Just like she said, anything for the right price. All we did was give her those relics. Hopefully she just doesn't get a lot out of them. But 100% we just helped an evil faction. For no reason other than to get some vendor trash. That is, what was it called? Twisted Evils? Yeah. Alright, the Pariah's instructions. This one is actually the most lore interesting of the whole quests. In my opinion, the fact that you have this centaur Pariah kind of going against his own people so that he can become the most powerful centaur. Will that be successful? Is that really a thing? Again, time will tell. Or maybe it won't. Wow, often there's so many writers on it in so many zones that very frequently narrative threads get dropped. Alright, yeah, so there's really not a lot to push once we finish this. Once we finish this dungeon, now that we've done on this character, we have to finish it one more time. So we're a couple episodes away from being 3/4 of the way through the game. Then we have a 4-zone chunk without a dungeon run, which is nice. We have that, we have Fellwood, which I'm getting extensively through. We're going to have Ajara, which I think is going to be quick. We'll have Ungoro Crater. That's a good questing zone. That's going to be a real zone. We'll have Blasted Lands, which is going to be interesting, not too huge, provide us a nice challenge. And then we'll cap that up with the Sunken Temple and the different Sunken Temple quests that we have. So at that point in time, we will be done with all like pre-endgame dungeons. We will be pretty well in. We will also, I would say we will officially be in our end game of the run. We will have made it to end game by then. I would imagine we're going to be level 60. So there's just a lot of elements that are going to make it, the end is nigh. We'll kick off our final zone. Here's our guy. With Western Plaguelands, which is kind of like a transition zone to the end game.
What did you decide, Contessa? Can you help me? Will you set foot on holy ground to help me forge one great centaur tribe? This is it, human. This is it. Now I can begin the great task of uniting the tribes. Thank you. Take this for your efforts, please. I hope when next we meet, we'll be on much different terms.
Alright, so now we've got to go back across the wasteland to get to Nigel's Point. So we have completed the Pariah's instructions. Only one quest left to drop off. Way up in Moonglade. This is actually a decent trinket. I like it. And we can now destroy the Pariah's instructions. So this trinket is a when struck in combat, you have a 2% chance of increasing all stats by 25% for a minute. So the buff is pretty nice. So when you're solo questing, well, you're getting struck all the time. So you basically could just chalk this up to being a 2% bonus, 2% of 25. So 10% of 25 is 2.5, so 0.25, so 0.5. So basically like a 0.5 stat, and you have, like we said, so this is like a 1 stat. And then what? So 1.5. Like less, it's maybe 2. You could maybe evaluate it as a 2-point thing in general. But then you have to think about the fact that it lasts a minute. And that proc chance, it can overlap. So then you have to think, how many times are we getting hit in a minute, you know, of straight questing and combat? Mobs can probably typically have somewhere around my swing, which is, this is a once every 4 second, it's a 3.9, very slow sword. Mobs maybe, let's just say, well, let's put them at 3 seconds. So you're getting 20 times, you're getting struck 20 times per minute. So each chance you have a 2% chance of failing. So basically you would have to do your chance of failing would be 0.98 to the power of 20. Let's do some calculations here. Darn it. Okay, so 0.98. Got a big calculator mode. The power of 20 is still 67%. So it's basically a 33% chance that you will succeed. So you have a 33% chance in any given 1 minute of proccing this in a typical enemy encounter. Slightly less than that if you're going with really slow hitting mobs. More than that, probably approaching 50% for fast hitting mobs. So then that really, you can really assume that the proc rate, you don't just treat it like 2%, you treat it as 2% over the course of all the hits in a minute. Now, you're not consistently fighting without breaks between mobs every time, so then you have to take that into consideration too. How much are we breaking in between mobs? Look at the path. I can't remember which way it is. So again, then that's gonna drop it. So this 33% chance is gonna basically drop because you're not always spinning on that. But in a pure non-stop combat situation like a dungeon, for instance, wrong way. It's going to be very close to that full constant contact when grinding, say, our timber maw molds, guys, very close to that constant contact. So in those situations, you're getting really close to that, say, 33%. But then again, the problem in a dungeon is you're not the one aggroing, the tank is. So in dungeons, it actually drops down to being essentially useless. So what I'm trying to do is basically do the math and figure out what is this thing worth to me. So in dungeons, it's basically going to be useless for my particular character. Not fully useless, but a little bit. It's going to have that value of about 2 points to my stat overall. Like I said, just in general, any given particular chance, maybe a little bit more. Because, you know, I probably will pull aggro from time to time. Or I could kind of off-tank. I just basically tanked the whole dungeon yesterday.
Where would you like to fly to?
Okay, I guess we're going up to Astronaut. But I would only evaluate it as like a 2 or 3 stat point thing. Also, some of the stats are... All stats are kind of useful for me, but like a 25... When it does proc, 25 points to crit and whatever are much better. So now if you think about it, let's say in a typical questing, it's probably going to be less than the 33%. Mobs are going to hit a little bit higher than that most of the time. Even if we evaluated it somewhere around 20%, you'd have to really, really sim this all the time. And this would be very hard to sim. But let's say if we evaluated it at about 25%, well, then you're getting a quarter of 50 for those two, which is 12.5 points. And then a quarter of 50 for your half stats. So a quarter of 25. It's about 6, so... and change, so we're about 18, 19 points, and then, you know, whatever, a quarter of the 25, so 6-ish, a third of that, so about 2-ish points. So this is going to be around a 20 point in a dense questing situation where I'm killing mobs for a few minutes at least. It's evaluated, I would evaluate it somewhere around a 20 point bonus. When it's in play, it's very good. When it's not in play, it's obviously doing nothing for me. So at that point, I would have to say I'm going to take Carrot on a Stick off. I'm going to leave Carrot on a Stick in my pool. I'm going to make it part of my life cycle here. For now. Actually, you know what? For now, with our travel, we're going to take it off. Because the chance to dodge is small. That's not the highest importance to me. You know what? I don't want to forget. So... I am going to keep it off. Even though that's going to... It seems kind of dumb now because it's going to make us travel 3% slower when we do a long hike right now. I don't care. I don't want to... okay. You know what? Jeez, I'm on the fence. How do I handle this? I don't want to forget. Forgetting is the kind of thing I do. Traveling long distances by horseback happens from time to time. Ah, screw it. I'll put the carrot. I'll put it over there. Alrighty. So, because carrot on a stick is literally doing nothing for me in combat. So, that one's gonna go. It's just a convenience thing. For when I travel far distances. I get... You know what? I am gonna keep it. I'm just gonna keep my... Just gonna try my best to remember. I've got to get myself into the flow of, hey, if I'm traveling far distances, let's put that carrot on a stick on to keep the traveling faster. And we are about to have a long hike. So, we are getting near the end of the episode, ish. Oh, this episode really was a full one. It's longer than I thought. I thought that today's episode would maybe take me about half an hour, but it's going to be, in total, like, this is going to take us about 15 minutes. It's going to be, just a little bit shorter than a normal episode. Because it's a long hike to... We've got to hike into Fellwood and then traverse the entirety of Fellwood and then make it through that tunnel and then get this flight path and still make it over to that point on the Seat of Life. So it's all traveling here on foot. But anyway, now you can kind of see the way my brain works. You could also just look this stuff up. People sim things like this. Other people do the math. All of it's probably already done, already existing out there. I just, do math for a living, and that's what my degree is in. So I don't do the advanced math like I did when I was a young college boy anymore. It doesn't have to get that intense. That was a really fun time in my life when I was doing, like engineering statistics classes and abstract algebra and number theory and all those kind of things. I really did find that I enjoyed it a lot, which I never would have. I never knew that until I was. I shifted my major 5 years into college when I changed. So you never know. You might. I mean, I never hated math. I was just like ambivalent to it, and that is what it is. You just don't know, I guess, unless you really try it, and you really got to give your brain a chance to want to do it. Like when you're a kid, no, it's like for most kids, it is not. There's nothing sexy about doing math when you're a kid. Nothing titillating. So yeah, so anyway, to recap our just projections out, we'll do Western Plaguelands to kick that transition off, and then really I guess after Western Plaguelands I will really consider us to be endgamey. Western Plaguelands will also open up access to Skullomance for us. I need to check and see my dungeons here. I have a dungeon list somewhere. I'll find it. My notebook's getting full and old. When we do retail, I might have to retire it and open up a new one. There we go. Okay, so the lowest of the low dungeons is Blackrock Depths. I kind of should. We can do some research along the way here, because let's just check it out. So we could do classic Black Rock Depths. Now I'm pretty certain. So this is a zone. So Black Rock Depths is a dungeon. You can see it is massive. This is... I'm pretty sure this is like the mega dungeon. Comments 101, the largest instance in the game. So what I'm thinking we will do is we'll set to run Blackrock Depths after we do the Burning Steps. So that means we will run I actually shouldn't. Because we'll do Western Plaguelands first, for sure. Silithus will be last, so that leaves me with 3 others. Eastern Plaguelands, Burning Steppes, and Winter Spring. I think Winter Spring will be saved for right near the end also, right before Silithus. So then that's just between Eastern Plaguelands and Burning Steppes. Between the 2 of those, we'll do Burning Steppes first. So what we'll do is Western Plaguelands, then we will go into Burning Steppes, and after Burning Steppes, we will run Blackrock Depths. So Western Plaguelands, Burning Steppes, with Blackrock Depths. Okay, I'm just making some notes for myself because I haven't, this is the one tier of skill that I haven't really, or of the game, the last thing that I hadn't fully mapped out. Then we will go and do Eastern Plaguelands. Well, after Blackrock Depths, the next tier, the next difficulty in dungeon, is Lower Blackrock Spire. So let's see what Lower Blackrock Spire is all about. So we're going to look up Lower Blackrock Spire. Okay. The Lower Blackrock Spire. This is the lower half of Blackrock Spire. Makes sense. So that's the first little quest hub right there. I don't think there's even a shop there. There's not. It can be accessed without a key. Because Upper Blackrock Spire, I guess you need some questline key, which is cool. We'll do that. I look forward to those kind of things. I don't care about recommended classes or how to get to it. What I was looking was maybe some kind of dungeon or loot. Is it a raid? Is it a dungeon? Yeah, it's a dungeon. Alrighty. So far I'm not really learning a lot, but we would do that, I would imagine, after. After we do Blackrock Depths, we could probably seg right into Lower Blackrock Spire. Seems like it's got some decent stuff. This is I guess this is a guide, it's not really... Okay, so there you can kind of see here, lower versus upper. Lower is bigger, it seems. Lower Blackrock Spire is the main chunk. Intended for one group, access without a key. It's been such a long time since I played it. I don't think I ever did it in Classic. This guy, Overlord Wormthalack, is the final boss. There's the Horde. Or no, that's Jadenar. That's a path out to Jadenar. Okay, so... The only thing is I can think of, I guess that, yeah, so we'll just run that one separately. There you go, Blood Venom Falls. This is where we'll get our slimes at. Half of them, the other half we already passed. They're down at the Jade Fire or something. It's like a prelude, slightly easier version. Alright, so that's what we'll do. So when we get to that final, we'll do Sunken Temple, then we'll run Western Plaguelands, and then we will go from Western Plaguelands into Burning Steppes. When we complete Burning Steppes, we will enter Blackrock Depths, and after Blackrock Depths, we will do Lower Blackrock Spire. Then Upper Blackrock Spire is a much more challenging thing. Consider it a raid, if you will. The next thing we would do is Scholomance, which we will have already opened after completing Western Plaguelands. So, or we'll have already opened it up, sort of. So, we're going to be hitting, after those first two, a big chunk of the last dungeons. Then that opens up Upper Blackrock Spire, Stratholme, and Dire Maul. All three of those are kind of on a par with each other. They're all three sort of waiting for us. With Dire Maul, I would say, being Let's look at Classic Dungeons Warcraft by difficulty. Let's see if there's a difficulty rank, because that might help how we tackle those last three. So this person says Lower Blackrock Spire is easier than Dire Maul East, which is easier than Stratholme Live, which is easier than Stratholme Undead, which is both are easier than Scholomance, which are both easier than the rest of Dire Maul. So Dire Maul seeming to be the hardest, and they are suggesting that Stratholme is easier than Scholomance. That's interesting. They would say that Dire Maul East is easy. I don't care about Dire Maul though, because I'm going to save it all. Blackrock Depths is the same. Stratholme Undead. They're saying Stratholme Undead and Strat Live is the same as Scholomance. So, I don't know. I'm going to be trying it in my order that I said. So, that means I'm going to... Yes, so I think at that point in time, I don't even see Upper Blackrock Spire listed in comparison to... Like, they're not listing Upper Blackrock Spire in their rankings here. So that is interesting to me. Ooh, oh, that's underground. There's a small thorium vein, but that little signal... We will be going in that cave later, actually. Alright, so now we're going to make our way down to this flight path. We're getting there. So, at that point in time, I think once we're into those final three zones, where I just have Eastern, Winter, Spring, and Silithus, I think I might, just to break things up, like do a zone, do a dungeon, do a zone, do a dungeon. So, yeah, we're only here so that we can get a flight path.
Where would you like to fly to?
Can't fly to Moonspring. Moonblade. The pet trainer, though, just in case you want to be a hunter, and a druid trainer. So, that's what you get. A hunter trainer. Nature people, this is your place. Alright, so it sounds like Stratholme is pretty darn... There was one of those corrupted flowers. It sounds like Stratholme is pretty darn hard. Upper Blackrock Spire is not even mentioned on the list, so I'm going to maybe tackle that first. Or not. Let's see. Let's look at Upper Blackrock Spire. And kind of check that out. Is it a dungeon? Yes. Okay. So Upper Blackrock Spire is a 10-man dungeon. So it's kind of like a mini raid. So actually, Upper Blackrock Spire has got to get saved for last. Because, alright, here we go. So we have to enter this tunnel and make our way through. Let's see what I want for myself. No. No. I guess I'm going to save my blessings in case I need a blessing of freedom. Let's put the defense on. Because we got to make our way through. So... Oh man. Alright, so I'm going to right off the bat bubble myself just to start the process, and maybe if I can survive a minute of bubbling, maybe things will be okay. Right, 45 seconds. I can also lay on hands myself. Okay, I'm gonna drink a potion. That'll help me too. Okay, I'm still needing 35 seconds. Darn it. I need the... We need to go north, so I should have jumped off that stupid bridge. Yikes. Okay. We're at 18 seconds. Okay, I'm laying on hand myself. 8. 3 seconds. Oh my gosh, I think I might have made it. If you're not a paladin, you're probably screwed on that one. Now I can heal myself. Oh no! Good thing, one good thing is they are not, oh man, I was totally wrong. It's a good thing I stopped and healed. I'm gonna use my other bubble, because we're close to getting out of here. Oh my gosh, there's so many of them. Yeah, so this is 100% a death run, probably a multi-death run. I did this... Now, if you're a stealth class, so if you're a rogue or druid, you're okay. If you are a priest, maybe you can get yourself through there. If you are a shaman or something that has slow totems, we might be able to get through this shaman on that way. Well, druids can just port to Moonglade, so it's not an issue, so I didn't have to do this on my druid. We did survive, though. Paladins, if you want to do something like that, Paladins are just about the best class in the game for just running a gauntlet like that, because they have so many different bubbles and cooldown, get out of jail free cooldowns. So we did survive and make it to Moonglade, but expect to die. Our shaman, I probably expect us to die. Alright, we get this flight path. That's good.
Where would you like to fly to?
And now we can connect ourselves back, so that's great. We can go turn this last quest in. I did take some punches. We are now explorers in the world of Moonglade. Nothing is really exposed, though, so that's... I think once you expose the world, like, if we go to this lake, maybe it will open up a big part of the map, if not all of the map. Yeah, so I'm not oh, 10 XP? I guess because you can go there so young. Yeah, let's just close the whole map. Alright, so if we're saving that for last, then when I do my first of 3, which will be Eastern Plaguelands, then I think I'll do Eastern Plaguelands, and then I will run Stratholme after it, which is good, because that will make sense. Then we will run Winter Spring and get that out of the zone. And after Winter Spring, we'll go back and do Dire Maul. That'll be cool. We'll get some Chronicles out of that, too. And then after that, we will run Silithus. And before we start looking into raids and entering that season, we will run Upper Blackrock Spire as part of a 10-man group. So, interesting.
You have the scent of corruption on you, Gleekentessa, much like many adventurers these days, but something about you is different. Is there something you've come to speak to me about? You have an aura about you that seems familiar, but I cannot place it. Please, I implore you, tell me why you sought an audience with me. But my brother has finally found peace. I am proud to have lived to see this day. In all his arrogance and anger, I truly thought he was lost to us, but this symbol of his sacrifice only proves that he is not lost. He has only been reborn. He takes his place in nature, as was his duty.
So what, he's like a tree now? And this is Remulos, who's a very, I guess, and his brother is what, Zaytar, maybe?
Thank you, Gleekentessa. By bringing this to me, you have secured a small amount of hope that I thought I had once lost. This seed will be important to the people of this war-torn land, some say. I can sense it.
And maybe this is a seed that they will eventually use to either get him back or to make another world tree, or who the heck knows what role that seed will eventually play. Alright, so that is the last of Seed of Life. So we have now completed all of the Maraudon quests. Maraudon. I always say Maraudon because it's spelled kind of like Marauder, but I have been known to overthink things like that and be wrong. Most notably, when I dug my feet in and really did not want to say Defias as the Defias Brotherhood. I just felt like phonetically it seemed to be spelled Defias, and I always called it Defias. And then I had a lot of people like, no, it should be Defias, and then they did at one point. There was some in-game video lore where a character pronounced it like a real character. I can't trust voiceover either. Voiceover's a hack. Alright, we have done it. We completed another section. We have the first 3/4 of the entire game in the pipe. 5x5 in this episode as well. In the pipe, 5x5.